How is it going, everybody? You're watching Then About Tech, and today I'm going to give you everything you need to know about the iPhone 12 lineup. So let's get started with data, information, and news because I'm sure that's what you want to know. So first, let's talk about release date. So the iPhone 12 will be released in September. A lot of people are saying October, even November, but all the rumors suggest that it's still going to be in September, like Apple always does a September launch. Of course, it's not going to be a live event, so it's going to be pretty much like WWDC, a recorded event that's going to be available online so we can all watch and see the unveil of the iPhone 12. And it will actually be available to the public in October. So we should wait a few weeks before actually getting our hands on the iPhone 12 because of delays and everything, because of everything we're going through right now. So then we're going to have that in October. So in just a few weeks, we're going to have our hands on the iPhone 12, but please keep in mind that it should be in short stock, so the supply should be pretty short because again of the same situation. So we should have a pretty high demand and a pretty low availability of devices, but that should be normal and it should get back to normal in just a few more weeks, like in November probably. Okay, so now let's talk about the iPhone 12 lineup itself. So Apple will release 4 iPhone 12 models right now in September, and Apple has already released the iPhone SE a few months ago, adding up to 5 new iPhone models in the same year. That's unheard of. Apple has never done anything like that before, but that's because it's different times, it's a new era right now, and people are just not buying very expensive iPhones, very expensive smartphones for that matter. So they want to get more options, and that's what Apple is doing, starting at $349 with the iPhone SE, going all the way up, climbing the iPhone 12 lineup. So let's talk about that. So the iPhone 12, which is going to be the cheapest one, the budget version of the new lineup, is going to be a 5.4-inch device. So 5.4 inch, that's of course the display size, and just as a comparison so you guys can understand that, it's going to be a little bit smaller than the iPhone 8. So it's going to be a very tiny phone, smaller than the iPhone 8, very small, very cheap. I'm going to talk about prices in a second. Then we're going to have the iPhone 12 Max, which is going to be another budget phone but with a slightly bigger screen, and that's going to have a 6.1 inch display. Okay, and just as a comparison again, 6.1 is the exact same size as the iPhone 11. So the iPhone we are already very used to, which is the exact same size as the iPhone XR. So the iPhone 12 Max is going to have that exact same footprint. Then we're going to have the iPhone 12 Pro, and that as well is going to have a 6.1 display. So we're not going to have a very small Pro device anymore as we used to have. No, we are having a 6.1 12 Pro, and for the 12 Pro Max, the big one, we're gonna have a 6.7 inch. So that's gonna be pretty large. As a comparison, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is this bad boy right here, is 6.5. So it's gonna be 0.2 inches bigger than the biggest iPhone Apple has ever made. So the 12 Pro Max is gonna be pretty big. So now that you know the release date, the name, the sizes, and you have a big picture of how the iPhone 12 lineup is going to look like, let's talk about prices. So the great news is that the prices are not going up. So Apple is not readjusting the prices. They are not going to get more expensive. They're going to be pretty much the same price. Thank God. So we're starting with the iPhone 12, which is going to be the entry level, the smallest one, the budget one. That's going to cost $649. So that's the exact same price as the iPhone 11 from last year. So it's just a direct successor to that. Then we're going to have the 12 Max, same phone, budget as well, but a bigger display. And then that one is going to cost $749, so $100 more for the display. Then we're going to have the 12 Pro, which is going to be a successor to the 11 Pro, and again, same price at $999. And then we're going to have the 12 Pro Max, which again, a direct successor to the 11 Pro Max at $1,100. So very good that we're going to keep the same prices with better, more advanced phones. Now let's talk about design, because finally we're getting a design change. So ever since the iPhone 6, we've had rounded corners. We've had a rounded body iPhone. And then now we're throwing back to the iPhone 4 and we're gonna have a squared off design. So it's gonna have a boxy design, it's gonna be square on the sides. So that's very, very cool. On top of that, we should have square corners, but the screen, the display on top should be a little bit curved like current iPhone models. So it should be a very, very cool design to have a curved display on a squared off edge. It should look very, very cool. On top of that, all iPhone 12 models are getting 10% thinner, so they're just getting a little bit thinner. I'm gonna talk about batteries in a second and how there's a direct relation between battery size and the phone being thinner. So 10% thinner, which is great because it should get slimmer, and of course it should get lighter as well, so that's always very, very good. There's just one thing that not everybody agrees on right now, which is which iPhone models will be squared off, will have the new design, and which won't. So some people are saying that only the Pro models are getting the squared off design, and some people are saying that all models are getting it. They're comparing to the iPad Pro, which just the Pro models are squared off, and the older and simpler, more budget iPads are rounded, have rounded corners. We're not sure yet, but at least the Pro models will definitely have a squared off design, which is great. Now let's talk about colors because that's very, very interesting. So the budget iPhone 12, so iPhone 12 and 12 Max should get very colorful options like the iPhone 11. So those green and blue and red and black and white, they should keep that very same scheme of colors, just because Apple always make the budget iPhones a little bit more colorful to make them a little bit more fun, and the iPhone 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max should also keep the more elegant colors. So again, the white, black, and the rose or gold, it depends a little bit, but the only difference is instead of going with midnight green, which is this version right here of my iPhone 11 Pro Max, they're gonna go with a navy blue. So they're probably gonna ditch the iPhone green model, the midnight green, and go with the navy blue, which should look very, very cool. It looks amazing. It's just very, very beautiful. And on top of that, still related to design, we're still gonna have the budget iPhone 12 models with an aluminum body, and the more expensive Pro models with a stainless steel body, keeping the same idea here. Now let's talk about display, and we're finally getting rid of LCD. So all the iPhone 12 models from this new lineup of the iPhone 12 are getting OLED displays. So no more LCD, no more liquid retina display, no more big bezels on the side or anything like that. So slim bezels, better quality, better colors, better display in general. Finally, the only difference is that the Pro models are probably gonna get the 120 hertz display, so finally a faster refresh rate, so it's gonna look much better, just like on the iPad Pro, with that smooth scrolling and also that snappy and fast experience that we get with 120 hertz display. Awesome. Cameras. Let's talk about cameras now. But unfortunately, there's not really a lot here to talk about because they're not really big news. So the budget iPhones are keeping pretty much the same layout and the same cameras and the same modules as the iPhone 11. So only two cameras for the iPhone 12 and 12 Max, one wide, the other one ultra wide, and that's it. Of course, we should get better results, a little bit better sensor, maybe better software, so we should get better photos, but not really huge new features there. On the Pro models, we're still keeping three cameras, so wide, ultra wide, and telephoto, but we're adding the time of flight sensor that we saw on the iPad Pro. So for depth sensing, that 3D sensor, which is going to be great for augmented reality, even virtual reality, maybe, who knows. And of course, for portrait mode, we should get better portrait mode photos because of that depth sensor. But again, nothing really new. Apple should create something different, should make something fun out of this. It should create some new mode probably, but there's nothing huge here in the camera department. Now we have to talk about the notch, and unfortunately we have bad news here as well, because the notch is not going away, not this year, maybe only in 2021 or 2022. Yeah, that's pretty bad, but Apple is not getting rid of the notch just yet. The only good news is the notch is getting a little bit smaller, because Apple is gonna make all the sensors and cameras and everything like that is gonna make him a little bit more squeezed inside the notch, so the notch is gonna get a little bit less wide. Okay, so it's gonna get a little narrower on that direction, but the height is gonna be the exact same. So it's gonna be as thick as it is right now, it's just gonna get a little bit narrower. So it's good that it's gonna be a little bit fresh, but not as we were expecting. And talking about notch, we have to talk about Face ID, which is housed inside the notch, of course. And Face ID should get a new generation, which should be faster, more secure, more reliable, and work in better angles, in more angles. So we should be able to just look at the phone on the table and make it unlock. We've heard this before, let's see, because now, of course, as we know, we have to do this when we want to unlock our phone. And that's just unacceptable, honestly. Now let's talk about accessories. There are a ton of rumors talking about accessories, saying that the box is just gonna come with the iPhone itself. It's just gonna be a box with the iPhone and the paperwork, but that's not true. We're also gonna get the cable. I'm not saying that's a good thing, no way. That's actually pretty bad. But we are getting the cable. So inside the box, we're gonna get the iPhone, paperwork, and the cable. We're not getting the power adapter anymore, neither the earphones, so the earpods. We're not getting those anymore. Just the cable, the iPhone, and the paperwork. Apple is saying that's because of the environment and packaging and shipping, and because most people already have power adapters, but honestly, that's just an excuse for them to make a cheaper phone, pay a little bit less on the accessories, and charge the same. Anyway, it's up to you to see if that's important or not. One important thing is that the cable is gonna be USB Type-C to Lightning. So if you don't have a USB Type-C power adapter, you're gonna need to buy another one, because all the older Apple accessories, all the older Apple power adapters are USB Type-A, unless you have an iPhone 11 Pro, or you have a MacBook Pro, or you have an iPad Pro. Meaning that if you don't have one of those Pro devices that already come with a USB Type-C power adapter, or if maybe you have bought separately in the past, you're gonna need to buy a power adapter anyway, because the cable that's gonna come in the box is USB Type-C, so you're probably gonna buy separately. You're gonna need to do that, unfortunately. The only good thing is the cable that Apple is including in the box is a braided cable, so there's more quality, it's stronger, it's tougher, so it's a better quality cable in general, because as we know, Apple cables are pretty bad and they break very easily. So it's good that Apple is including that in the box. So they're not giving you a few things, but at least they're giving you a better, tougher cable. Now we have to talk about battery. Remember I was talking about battery a few minutes ago? Yeah, and that's because all iPhone 12 models are gonna get smaller batteries if you compare to the previous generation, to the iPhone 11 and their correspondent model. So they're gonna get 10% smaller batteries. That's why the iPhones are gonna get 10% thinner. So 10% smaller battery, 10% thinner phone. That's how you see the relation right there. But don't worry, because the performance of the battery, so how long it will actually last, is not gonna get any worse, because the processor is gonna get much more efficient. I'm gonna talk about the processor in a second. So smaller battery, but probably pretty much same battery life. One piece of good news is 5G. All iPhone models will have iPhone G, will be enabled to work with iPhone 5G, which is great. So from the iPhone 12 to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, all of them are going to be compatible with both versions of 5G, so the millimeter wave and of course the sub 6 gigahertz. So that's amazing. Out of the box they're going to be compatible, so we can get a $649 iPhone with 5G in a few months. That's just amazing. And last but not least, let's talk about performance. Yes, so we're gonna get the A14 Bionic processor on all iPhone models. So which of course is going to be much more powerful, it's going to have a much better performance, and it's going to be much more efficient, so energy efficient as well, which is great. And that's why I was talking about efficiency and the battery, because the new processor, it will actually handle that very well. And talking about RAM memory, we're going to have 4 gigabytes on the iPhone 12 and 12 Max, so the exact same RAM memory we have on this generation iPhone 11, and we're going to have 6 gigs of RAM on the Pro version. So that's pretty cool that we're going to have pretty more power and more memory to handle all those multitasking and background activities. That's great. And some analysts already made some kind of tests, like benchmarks and projections, and they're saying that the A14 Bionic with 6 gigs of RAM are gonna get the same performance as the MacBook Pro 15-inch. So that's just ridiculous. It's just so powerful. Those mobile devices are getting much more powerful than most computers right now. It's just unbelievable. So that's pretty much it. Hope you like this video. Hope you like all the information that I have on the iPhone 12 lineup. Of course, a few of those things can change here and there, but that's pretty much it. We shouldn't see any major leaks anymore. That's what we're gonna have. We can see some adjustments here and there, but that's it. That's the iPhone 12. If you liked it, please make sure to hit the like button down below, also the subscribe button and the little bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. And please make sure to comment as well. I'm always having a look at all the comments. So that's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye bye.